I'm also curious about your whole transition from going from Philly to New York, and like
Yeah.
what led up to that, and how the scenes, differed.
Man, I've had like the interesting teachers and mentors who have just like kind of pushed me in a like giving me the right nudge at the right time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I grew up in Connecticut and I moved to Philadelphia from Connecticut, you
Uh-huh.
know? And that wasn't necessarily going to Philadelphia wasn't the uh, the teacher who pushed me, but expanding my mind to the fact that like I could be a professional musician if I applied myself in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, the teacher told me that, and I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I decided to move to Philadelphia. Got
Hmm.
to Philadelphia, established, a reputation and worked and met people and things. And one of my mentors is Orrin, who played out with me on Monday. And he had a conversation once, and he was like, yeah, man, like, when you move to New York kind of thing,
Hmm.
I hadn't really thought about it. But then the more I did think about it, I realized that like I had a network of folks here,
Hmm.
and I also wanted to know what it was like to be around like the best people who do what I'm doing, you know.
Yeah.
And not to say that the best don't live everywhere because they do, but there's like a certain like way that they are together in New York.
Hmm.
Also, I'm an East Coast kid, so like I grew up in Connecticut. I used to come down to New York for summers, so I knew that I could live here. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of could I afford it. That's
Yeah.
the end of the day. And then I kind of just jumped in. Um, the scenes are different. I don't know. I'll say this: it has nothing to do with how much you could play. You know,
Yeah.
um, because it's no playing in Philadelphia is hard. You have to be well versed in basically every style of American music.
Wow.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you got to be able to throw the party wherever the party is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that's kind of across the board. Doesn't really matter like if you're a mostly straight ahead guy,
Hmm.
uh, or you mostly play pocket, but you better know how to play like you know autumn leaves, and you better know how to play like Mr. Magic for real, and you
Hmm.
better know how to play, I don't know, some, get up, get down, get fucking get loose, Eddie Pendergrass. It's like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It was in Philadelphia that I picked up the electric bass again and
Hmm.
started to like really explore that sound. Um, New York, it's a lot of go, not so much show at the beginning.
Hmm.
It's like before you know it, you've worked 45 days in a row, you know,
Wow.
and it's been great, but it's been late nights, early mornings trying to get it together.
Yeah.
Um, so it was a lot. Moving to New York was definitely about, and I moved to New York later than most cats. I
Hmm.
was 28 when I moved here. So I
Yeah.
already I was like, I've got to get to this work.
Hmm.
And a lot of my peers had gone through, like my age peers had gone through the New York of like Cleo's and Sweet Basil, I mean,
Hmm.
hanging out, going to MSM, going to New School,
Yeah.
where I
Yeah.
was like, I went to state school in Connecticut and then I moved to Philly and then I came up. So like, we're in a similar part of life, but we weren't in the same similar part of New York life.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of just like, meeting a lot of people that aren't necessarily in my age group, but
Hmm.
are also kind of like in the same place in their New York career.
Yeah.
Okay? Um, yeah, so it was just some adjustments, but then like I said, I had a network here. I was playing before I moved here. I was playing at St. Nick's Pub with TC the Third, and meeting like those
Hmm.
cats there and doing that thing, and then hanging at Cleo's a little bit. Then by the time I moved here, I was hanging at Smalls a bunch, and the rest is
Yeah.
we're here. So they haven't kicked me out yet.